I am extremely nervous about getting started on this, and I don't know why. So I'm gonna anxiously fiddle with my hair. Ready? Okay. Hi guys. What's this? Jazzy. What's up? Welcome to my channel. I've been sitting here because I don't know like how to get started. I don't know if I should like introduce myself because this is my first video. I don't know what to do with my hands. Obviously I hit you guys with jazz hands and I just don't know how to get started, and all I want to do is talk about the books that are out this month. So let's not make it weird. Let's not make it a thing. These are the books I read in May. What is this? Okay, the first book that I read was The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, and let's see, it's the I'm throwing up. Chaos ensues. Okay. This is the first book in the series, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I just feel like, first of all, I'm never going to remember these titles. I read this one the month before, so I read the second one in the duology this month, and while I loved the first one, it gave me like every Hunger Games vibe I didn't know I needed. This one, I keep saying like this one. This isn't the one we're reviewing. This is the first book in the series. I don't even know why I have this. So, anyways, I did enjoy the second book in the duology. Like, I see what you're doing there, but I did not enjoy it quite as much as the first book. With that said, I do think it features the best written, morally gray character I have ever read. Like, when I tell you, like, I would say even up until like almost the very end, you know how like sometimes you get a vibe for people and you're like, yes, these are my people? I didn't know if I liked him or not, and I feel like that is brilliant writing. Solid 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm curious to like finish the other duologies that go with this, because I think there's like 2 others that are going to be set in the same world. I'm very, very excited, but like book 1, book 2, you know? Then I listened to Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I believe the narrator was Julia Whelan. 10 out of 10, would recommend. I know, I know a lot of people have not been enjoying this book, but I really did. I thought that Happy Place had a lot more like found family and elements like that than her previous books. Like, we actually had a friend group that we were following in this one, and I really did like Harriet and Wyn. I kind of struggled with the dual POV a little bit because the whole time I was like what is going on, you know? So I liked the aspect that it was a second chance romance, but it was also kind of fake dating, because you have these people who don't want to tell their friends that they are separated because they don't want to mess up their friend group, so they're fake dating in front of their friends. And like, I just feel like this hit for me at the time that I needed it to, especially with like my job change and everything this past year for me. So I just feel like this book hit for me when I needed it to, and I gave it 5 stars. Then I'm still very much in my thriller era. Let me refer to my notes. I read One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. I hope that is how you pronounce that, because I have been stressing out about it way too much, and I just need to like get it out there. Geneva Rose. So this book was a thriller with lots of rich people drama, and it all kind of centers around the salon that they all go to, and it was just kind of like rich, catty women, which I found super enjoying. It was kind of like Desperate Housewives vibes, or like Big Little Lies, you know, where like all their lives are super intertwined and it gets messy, and I loved the beginning of it. It was giving me everything that I needed, and then it just like kind of sort of fizzled. Why am I still saying that? It fizzled at the end. Because it fizzled so much, I ended up giving it 3 stars, but I did still enjoy it. I really didn't read that many like physical books this month, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I really thought I was focusing on my physical TBR, but like looking at everything that I read this month, like I only have like a small stack of books, you know. Okay, anyways, the first one that I read a physical book of was Daisy Hates, and this is part of the Magnolia Parks universe. This book, instead of following Magnolia and BJ, you follow Christian and Daisy and Julian, King Julian, who I have decided that I like a lot. I feel like the Hates are my favorite crime family. Come here. Are we gonna tell him about the third? She can't math. 5th book we read this month? This is Dante. The second physical book that I read this month was A Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and I read this in preparation for this coming out. And I did actually read an arc of this, so I had already kind of been in this world, but I did it backward, which is not something that I really like to do. However, my work friend really likes Abby Jimenez. Like, she loves her. And when we got the arc for this, she was like, you don't need to read this. And like, yes, it's true, but I feel like you gotta read them in order. Okay, I keep saying a part, it's just Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This book follows Daniel and I believe, yes, Alexis, and they're both kind of legacies in their respective worlds. His family has owned this very old, beautiful house for 100 years, and she works at a hospital that her family has worked at for a very long time. So they're both legacies in their own world. This is a reverse age gap, so she is the older lady, and I just enjoyed this so much. She ends up going and staying with him in this small town for a little bit, and then they go back and forth, and it's all these things, and like, I really enjoyed this. I don't know what else to tell you guys. My man's is younger than me as well, so I was like, yes, Queen Slay. And I love this so much. I own all of her books, so I need to loop around and read that first trilogy. 4 stars, all vibes. I loved it. I think it would be a perfect summer read. Heavy sigh. I listened to The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda, and I don't know what the problem was. It could be me that I listened to it. Maybe I wasn't like picking up what they were putting down, but this was a 1-star listen for me. I thought the setup in this one was very nice. It's a small town, lots of people go missing, but they're never anybody from the town. It focuses on like a little house or inn that is placed right as like the last stop before you get into mountains, wilderness, craziness. So like it was all there. None of it hit. I don't know. I could have been the problem. None of it hit. Like I didn't think it was like a spooky dooky good time. I didn't get attached to the characters at all. Like I didn't even really care about the plot twist as people were like checking into this inn and stuff, and like, I don't know, maybe I was the problem, but I gave it 1 star. Then we get to the Freida McFadden. Why can't I say Freida McFadden? Then we get to the Freida McFadden part of this month. And like, when I tell you I was in, your girl was in. The way I thought I had this plot twist down. In this book, the couple is house shopping. They meet the realtor at the sketchy ass house that a doctor used to own. The doctor went missing. Like, they think the boyfriend did it, but I don't think it was ever like wrapped up. So the doctor was just like gone for the house they were touring. Bad weather, spooky dooky vibes. Like, they go anyways. Why? When the weather's like that, first of all. Especially in the car they were driving, whatever. Like, they end up going to the house and they get snowed in. And then while she is there, the lady of the couple, she starts wandering around, because what else are you gonna do? Like, in a spooky house, you know, out in the middle of nowhere. She finds the doctor's old work tapes, like from whenever she would help her clients and stuff. And she starts listening to them. And then it's just a spooky dooky, really good time. And I really liked the pacing of this one. Like, it was so fast. I just tootled into my Walmart one day and I saw this and I was like, oh look, it has sprayed edges. And now like everybody wants one, and I have one, you know, like I made my friend get one too. Everybody's doing it. I hate dust jackets sometimes. Everybody's doing it, and I needed to do it as well. And as you can tell, what I read next was Fourth Wing. And when I tell you, this lives up to the hype. This lives up to the hype. I want a dragon. I want to watch How to Train Your Dragon. Like, I finished this book and I was like, how do I go back to everyday life where I don't own a dragon? This was giving like all the Divergent things that I needed. I don't know how I found so many books this month and like last month that like really hit home to like what I read when I was younger. But initially, I gave this 4 stars. Like, the hype is all there. I literally could not stop thinking about this book, right? Because I couldn't stop thinking, we'll show the sprayed edges. Because I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I'm still thinking about it, and I still want a dragon, and like I still want to be in this world, we bumped it up to 5 stars. And that's the thing about me. Sometimes I will rate a book 5 stars because it is the most beautifully written thing I've ever read. Sometimes a book's all vibes, and if I have that good of a time, she gonna get bumped up to 5 stars. So I'm in. I cannot wait for the second book to be released. This was just everything I think I needed it to be. I loved the disability rep. Just the dragons, okay? 5 stars. Then I listened to The Good Sister. I didn't write down who it was by, but you can, Sally Hepworm. Hepworm. Anyways, next I listened to The Good Sister, and this focuses on Fern, who has some sensory issues, and her sister Rose, who, as we find out through the story, is quite a bit manipulative. So we follow these 2 sisters, and it had like vibes of The Maid. I can't remember the author's name, but I'll put a picture. It had like vibes of that, and while it was slow paced in the beginning, I really liked how everything was just flowing. It was a good, easy listen, and then we got to the plot twist, and I was like, I don't even care. I don't know why my disinterest was just like my interest. I guess it would be my interest, but like, let me repeat that for you guys. It could have been a me thing, it could have been an audiobook issue for me. Sometimes I don't listen well, but like, whatever it was, like, I was vibing and then I wasn't, and I ended up giving this 2 stars. Then I read Yours Truly. This was a reread. Like I said, I did get an arc of this, so I'd already read it, already loved it. This follows Jacob and Bree, I'm pretty sure, and they are both up for the same promotion at work. So it's kind of like, I wouldn't say lovers to enemies because I don't get that vibe unless I'm like reading a fantasy, but this was very much like work rivals. Then there's like a pen pal like thing going on, which I super liked. And more than anything, I love the anxiety rep in this one. The way Bree just thought about the things that he would need, that was so just like reassuring to me as an anxious lady myself, that like people they can help you. So I loved the mental health rep in this one. What I did not love was the miscommunication trope. That's the only reason this is not a 5 star for me. The first time I read it, in my review, I wrote, this book is the definition of the miscommunication trope. And it is. But there's like a lot of goodness in there as well. But like towards the end, I was like, say what you goddamn need to say, okay? The next 3 books that I'm going to list, I'm not going to go too in-depth because I actually did a reading vlog, and these 3 are included in that vlog, so it's not posted yet, but it is going to be posted soon. The next Frida McFadden book that I read was Ward D, and in this one we follow a med student, and it is her turn on the psych ward, and of course she has the night shift, and they make it real dramatic, like you're locked in there for 12 hours, you can't leave, and of course one of the patients is somebody that she knew from her past. So I liked in this one how quick paced it was. All of Frida's books are, but this one took place in a very short amount of time. It was just her 12-hour shift. And it was dual timelines, her and her friend previously, before they had a falling out, and then the night of her shift. The best thing about this one for me is that we had an unreliable narrator, and she was pretty paranoid herself. So I thought it was really fun. And I ended up giving it, I have to look at my notes, hang on, 4 stars. So Ward D, Freida McFadden, 4 stars. This was a reread for me. I don't know why I did it. This is one of the Emily Henry books that I am not fond of. It follows Alex and Poppy. This is a friends to lovers, and it's dual timeline again when they are like on their first vacations together, and then they have like a falling out, and then like the vacation they're on now. I go in depth about Emily Henry pretty intensely in the vlog that will be posted soon. I still don't like this. I gave it 2 stars. Next up, One by One by Freida McFadden. And this one, 6 friends go on a remote cabin trip. Well, they try to, they don't quite make it. You know, the minivan has problems, all these things. They're picked off one by one. This was a short time span as well for the framing of this book, but it didn't quite work as well for me as Ward D did. It was like, okay, I liked the beginning more than the end, and I gave it 3 stars. Next up, I read, what is it, Wrecked? Not Wrecked. I'm currently listening to Wrecked. Up next, I listened to Collided. This is the 2nd book in the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher. I want to like Lauren Asher because everybody else does, but it's all just kind of okay for me. I do like the 2nd book a lot more than the 1st book, and that's just plot-wise. In this one, we follow Sophie and Liam, and she has kind of a bucket list that she wants to do to help her get out of her shell because she is quite a shy and we'll say rigid lady. And then you have Liam, who is a bad boy, all the things. He helps her with the list. So this is also a friends to lovers. I really liked the setup of this one. I don't know. I just didn't connect as much as I wanted it to, and I ended up giving this 3 stars. Then I went back to the Magnolia Parks universe, and this is the 3rd book. This is Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. So this is BJ and Magnolia's point of view again. And now that like I knew what I was in for with this group, I didn't have quite like that shock factor in it this time. So this was a 4-star read for me. I just really like the drama of this world. If like me petting the book again is gonna like make you read it, I'll do it again. I don't care. I love this series. 4 stars. I still don't like love BJ and Magnolia, but that's kind of what it is. But who I do love, King Julian. And I finished up the month with another audiobook by Freida McFadden. This one was called The Inmate. I thought that this one was a little bit slower. Like the pacing was different with this one out of anything else that I've read by Freida this month. This one was kind of a slow setup. She is the nurse practitioner at the Max, you know where to put it, bad guys? What's that called, babe? Max. They take him to Max? What is that? Max Security. That's it. And one of the guys that is an inmate at the place that she works is actually a guy that she had, I don't want to say like locked up, but they had known each other previously, and there was a massive incident from which her testifying put him in jail. So he is in the prison, and there's another, I don't want to say point of view, another character that she also knew from this same previous timeline. So you're kind of trying to figure out who to trust, and I never really found out who I did want to trust, but it had a nice twist at the end. So it was a little bit different from the pacing of her other books. it has lingered more with me, I guess. Like I'm still sitting here thinking about it. Whereas the other ones, I feel like they kind of wrapped up rather nicely. So yeah, those are the books that I read in May. I don't know how to close it out. Bye guys.